after I've made some videos about skills that make someone a very good driver. And thank you so much for all your feedback. It was great. I've realized that we should talk about the signs of a really good driver. All right, you've learned all the rules, you memorized all the signs, you passed your driving test. That's awesome. But becoming a very good driver comes with time and experience. I really do hope that most of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to be somewhat relatable to you. And without further ado, let's get to the first item on our list. And the very first sign of a great driver is knowing your car. It is very important for a good driver to know the basic specs of their car and understand all of the inputs that their car makes, such as steering, accelerating, or braking. And this knowledge becomes very useful, especially in emergency situations. Because if you don't know how your car reacts to sudden braking or sudden acceleration, you're gonna have a bad time. It is also important to understand how your transmission works, if it's a manual, if it's an auto, and how it reacts to your inputs. You need to know all of the controls your car has for your daily driving, even the simpler stuff, like your headlights. You need to know how to use your low beams, your high beams, how to turn on your AC, how to operate it, every single thing that you use every day. A good example why you should understand all of your inputs, let's say you don't know how your car accelerates. If you want to pass someone on the highway, or if you want to overtake someone on a two-lane highway, you need to know what your car is capable of. If you don't know how hard your car can brake, you will not know how much distance to leave between you and the car in front of you. And I understand not everybody is a driving enthusiast like me, so they're not very nerdy about their cars, but I feel like everyone who is driving one should know the basics. I'm not talking about knowing the curb weight of your car to the nearest pound, but at least knowing the approximate weight of your car would be nice, I think. So a good driver will know all of this stuff, or let's say if they just bought their new car, they will proactively search for this information and learn about their car's limits. And it's actually a great segue to our next trait of a good driver, which is continuously enhancing their driving skills. It doesn't matter how much experience you have or driving seating time, there's always something to learn. So a good driver, again, proactively will search for opportunities to enhance their skills. There are performance driving schools, emergency driving schools, and defensive driving schools out there from which you can learn a lot. They will also probably watch YouTube videos like this to kind of cement their knowledge. And let's say you have a friend who is better than you at driving, you will try to constantly learn from them, maybe ask them questions, and maybe ask for their critique of your driving. I think there is no shame of admitting that you may not know something and you are eager to learn, regardless of your experience. And even though I'm making those videos about becoming a better driver and you guys find my content valuable, I still have lots and lots to learn. For example, I would like to learn someday how to drive on a track. And since we don't get too much snow in Vancouver area in the winter, I would like to learn more how to drive properly in the snow. And I'm constantly trying to learn new stuff about driving, about cars, to get better. And of course, a good driver admits their mistakes, tries to analyze them as much as possible, and tries their best to not commit them again. But the next trait of a really good operator of a motor vehicle is being composed and calm in stressful situations. All right, let's enjoy this corner here. This is one of my favorite ones. Oh, I like this car. Professional athletes talk about it all the time. Because when you're performing before tens of thousands of people, you definitely feel pressure. But you cannot perform on your highest level if you don't feel calm and confident. One of the examples is parallel parking in busy areas. Some people just start to panic all of a sudden because they feel nervous that they're holding some people off. In this situation, just remain cool, remain calm, and take your time. Go to a place like this when there's not many cars around and practice parallel parking on your own. So then next time in a busy area, you'll feel calm and you will not start panicking. Some people panic because they losing the control of their vehicle, or they lose traction all of a sudden. Being nervous, afraid, or angry while you're driving is definitely not a trait of a good driver. Trust me. But feeling nervous and afraid is normal because we all are humans and we all need time to develop our skills. And that's why I told you about the continuous learning and continuous enhancement of your skills by going to different driving schools, by talking to people who know how to drive better than you, and just practice, practice, and practice. There's no other way, honestly. A great and awesome driver will also avoid any confrontations with bad drivers. Let's be honest, all of us encounter bad drivers every single day while we drive. But there's a simple solution to it. Don't engage and become an aggressive driver in return. Again, this comes to remaining cool, remaining calm, and being composed while you drive. I feel like drivers who are smart just avoid those confrontations. They don't ever engage in road rage, and they just go on with their day because they don't need to spend this energy on negative emotions. Alright, it's going great so far, I think. Let's talk about the next sign of a good driver, which is utilizing your turn signals properly. So let's say I'm about to make a left turn on the next intersection. I will show my turn signal in advance so that the car behind me will know my intent. So they will know I will be slowing down, they will not be angry with me, and we utilized our turn signal properly. Of course, bad drivers will not use their turn signals completely. I'm talking about reckless drivers who are changing their lanes rapidly on the highway and endangering everyone. But I also want to talk about the people who think they are using their turn signals properly, but they are actually not. And I'm talking about people who are showing their turn signal for less than a half a second, or they're showing their turn signal while they are performing the driving maneuver. Some people will actually start moving to the right and then they will show their turn signal. But it is pointless to do that because the whole point of showing the turn signal and communicating with other drivers is to show your intent, not your action. As you could have seen there, I showed my intent to merge into this lane. I didn't show my turn signal while I was doing it. Let's say I want to change the lane to the left of me. I will show my turn signal 1 or 2 seconds before. I will start making a maneuver, and once I finish, I turn it off. And let's talk about the reason why we want to show our turn signal 1 or 2 seconds in advance before we make a lane change. And the reason is that, let's say someone was in my blind spot on the right. They will have enough time to react to my intent, and they would either honk at me or they will slow down to avoid a collision. And I think we all hate those people who are turning into the driveway or trying to parallel park and not showing their turn signal and just slow down for no reason. If you want to slow down, just kindly let people know behind you. Why I also think it's inexcusable to not use your turn signals, because they're so easy to use. They're right near your left hand all the time. Look, it doesn't even take me any effort to turn my signal to the left at this moment. So good drivers will utilize their turn signals to properly show their intent of a future maneuver. All right, number 5, showing good etiquette. I feel like good drivers strive to be a good role model on the road. They are constantly practicing good driving etiquette and simultaneously trying to promote it. Let's talk about some of the examples. We're coming towards the cyclist on the right, and we will show good driving etiquette while we are passing them. So a good driving etiquette in this case is to slow down, show your turn signal to the left, and leave as much space as possible for these cyclists. Once you're done, you can accelerate again and stay in the middle of the road. Good driving etiquette also means using your headlights properly, especially at night, because some people don't know that you should not use your high beams all the time, and they are just constantly blinding other drivers. Some people are being obnoxious and stubborn, and they don't let people in. We all sometimes make mistakes, miss our exit, miss our turns. So if someone made a mistake and wants to jump into your lane, just let them in. I think it all comes to being empathetic towards other people, towards other drivers. It's just like being nice in public. When you hold a door for someone, or you help someone in the plane to put their baggage into the storage above, I feel like most good people, they just feel good about it. And it's exactly the same when you drive. Just be nice to other people, let them in, don't try to cut them off, don't try to tailgate them, don't try to show your entitlement on the road because you're driving a huge truck and you just want to intimidate everyone. A good driving etiquette is just about being a good human being. Alright, second to last item on our list, which is avoiding distractions. According to research, being distracted on your phone is even worse than being drunk while you drive. It goes without saying that we should not use our phones while we drive, and I understand that in modern time, our life revolves around using our phone. Sometimes you have a very important text you have to reply to, but we should make rules for ourselves. Whenever we are driving, we should not use our phone to reply to text, and just let our friends, close ones know that when I drive, I don't reply to messages. And if they love and respect you, they will understand. You know, I've seen too many TikToks when people play Candy Crush on highways and stuff. Yeah, this is very unfortunate. And in many new cars, the infotainment system became so obnoxious, so hard to use, and every single AC control is in the screen, every single car setting is in the screen. You have to interact with the screen to do basically anything in your car, and it is freaking dangerous. And look at those beautiful trees. We're coming towards the April time, and it's so beautiful out here in Vancouver area. And you know, some of you would say you are actually filming a video and driving at the same time. Isn't that distracting? And I would say that I feel very comfortable while filming and driving at the same time, but it's not for everyone. I spent lots of times making sure I feel comfortable enough before I started my YouTube channel. But since all of my videos have scripts, whenever I forget something in my script, I actually pull over like this. I come to a full stop, put it in park, and I just scroll and read what's next in my script. And as you can see, the next thing is recognizing the responsibility of driving. As some of you know, cars are very, very heavy. And when they gain a respectable speed, it is very easy to very, very badly injure someone, or in the worst case, kill them. And every time I come out for a drive, I try to reflect on that, and I try to remind myself that I am driving an actual weapon. This on-ramp is really good as well. It has some bumps on the way, so I try to be extra careful, but I like to exit from this corner right here. I love on-ramps like this. I feel like one of the easiest methods to harm someone is to get behind the wheel and be irresponsible. That's why I think all good drivers understand that they are sharing the same road with other people, and they just want to make sure they don't harm themselves and people around them. And as you could have seen from this video, there were a couple of moments when I had so much fun, but I wasn't being dangerous towards anyone. For example, I frequently drive with passengers in my car. I like to drive with my partner, with my friends. We go on road trips, and whenever there are some passengers in my car, let's focus on this turn right here. Sorry about that, guys. But every time I get passengers in my car, I am being extra careful, because I'm not only responsible for my life in this case, but for other people's lives in my car. So that's why good drivers pay attention to every single input they make, because you never know what can lead to an accident or a bad decision. And the curse about becoming a better driver is that once you get more comfortable, more confident behind the wheel, it is very easy to drive an autopilot and let those details become a background. That's why I keep saying that driving a manual would actually make you a better driver, because you're constantly more involved and engaged in the driving experience, and hence you are likely to be more focused when you are driving. And with all that said, there's so many other driving skills that make someone a better driver. So you should watch this video about smooth driving, and you should watch this video about anticipation behind the wheel. And as always, stay safe out there, keep enjoying the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.